Welcome to this video. On July 27th, 2018 at approximately, well no actually exactly 1:20 p.m. Pacific time, there is a full moon lunar eclipse in Aquarius happening. So with this eclipse, Mars retrograde is exactly, like not exactly, but like very closely conjunct the south node and the moon in Aquarius. So, and Mars is retrograde right now. So Mars is at 3 degrees 58 minutes of Aquarius. The moon and the sun are both at 4 degrees 45 minutes of their respective signs, the sun being in Leo conjunct the north node in Leo, and then, you know, the moon being conjunct the south node, and the south node and the north node are at 5 degrees and 53 minutes of their respective signs. So they're pretty damn close, like within 2 degrees of each other, all of them. So that is, you know, what you would call a total eclipse, which will be occurring on the opposite side of the world from where I am. So 1:20 p.m. is midday for me, so the moon will be pretty much on the other side of the world and I'll be here. Hey, by the way, proof that the world is round, okay? Just putting it out there. No, just kidding. Alright, sorry, I didn't mean to be a dick to people who believe the earth is flat, but how the fuck is the moon on the opposite side of the world right now with the sun over here? You know, the sun's right there for me, the moon's over there for somebody out there. Okay, I didn't mean to do the beast mode there. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, I didn't mean to do that. I swear, I'm not in the Illuminati. If I was, I'd be famous. Okay, I'm fucking around right now. Okay, so, this full moon is creating a T-square with Uranus and Taurus. And it's almost creating a grand cross with Jupiter and Scorpio, but Jupiter in Scorpio is at like 13 degrees right now, give or take, because I don't remember exactly because I didn't write it down. And Uranus is at approximately 2 degrees, so the T-square is very close, but there's not quite a grand cross happening. With this T-square to Uranus, oh Lord Almighty, this is a time of change, huh? Time of change right now is coming upon us. This is a time to be releasing certain things in your life, and wherever Aquarius is in your chart, and wherever these specific degrees are in your chart, will indicate what it is you're letting go of. And because of Mars being involved, it has to do with letting go of certain parts of our ego, certain parts of our sense of self, and becoming more in tune with what our unique purpose actually is, and getting in alignment with our higher purpose for the good of all, for the good of the collective, for the good of humanity. And with it square Uranus and Taurus, this could be a very physical change, or it could be a very behavioral change, something that's very tangible for you. So it could be letting go of all kinds of different possibilities, of course, you know, pretty much anywhere where, you know, any house involved with Aquarius is. So like if it's in your first house, it's going to be an aspect of yourself. If it's in your second house, it's going to be a possession, money, where you're making money, letting go of what you're doing to make money. If it's in your third house, it's going to be a mental shift, letting go of certain mentalities. Maybe even issues with siblings could crop up. Maybe you have to, you know, distance yourself from a sibling if it's in your third house. If it's in your 4th house, it could be detaching from family for a bit, detaching from family members. It could even be about letting go of certain emotional things, certain things from the past. If it's in your 5th house, it could be a shift in how you approach your child or the child within yourself. It could also be how you express yourself is shifting. You're letting go of certain ego expressions, possibly. And then if it's in your 6th house, it could be how you're serving others that needs to shift. And letting go of maybe a job if it's not in alignment with your higher purpose. If it's in your 7th house, it could be a relationship that you need to let go of, or a shift in your relationship that needs to occur, especially if there's a feeding of your ego within this relationship, or you're not able to be as free as you need to be who you are in this relationship, because with Aquarius it is about freedom a bit. So any of these areas that applies. And then 8th house is more of like letting go of like codependency possibly, or a shift into like maybe even experiencing a death possibly, or like a death of your ego, very likely. But really like looking at your shadow side if it's in your 8th house, and letting go of certain shadow aspects of yourself, or transforming those shadow aspects, confronting your shadow deeply could be happening, and just really forgiving yourself. I think in the 8th house you'd have to forgive yourself for certain things in your shadow life. If it's in your 9th house, it could be about beliefs, letting go of your beliefs, a shift in your beliefs, an awareness that gets brought forward that really rattles the beliefs that you hold on to, and you'll have to let go of certain things in that way. And if it's in your 10th house, could be a shift in your career, letting go of certain aspects of your career, maybe getting clearer on what you need to do to further your career, and letting go of certain things that are holding you back from expressing, who you are within your career. Maybe not, letting go of things that are not allowing you to be as free in your career. And if it's in your 11th house, it could be letting go of friends, letting go of certain people who have been possibly feeding your ego or holding you back and not allowing you to be who you really are. And then in your 12th house, this could be letting go of addictions, letting go of tendencies to escape reality, tendencies to delude yourself about who you really are, and coming into more awareness of your unconscious mind, your unconscious self, and any form of not facing yourself. Any form of, sweeping under the rug is not going to be allowed right now for those who have Aquarius in the 12th house. So yeah, that's a little rundown for you of what that could be. And of course, with Uranus and Taurus, the sun will be in Leo, conjunct the North Node, and then, Uranus and Taurus is going to be square wherever it is in your chart, and that could be another area that gets really noticed right now with what needs to shift and change and be brought into awareness further, to allow your full expression of who you really are, and to allow you to be as free as you possibly can be, and individualized, and be as true to your values and what you hold dear in terms of your ideals. And this is a time for us to really try to express those ideals in the most authentic way possible, and not water them down, because I feel like life itself can diminish our idealism to a degree, but I feel like the core of what needs to happen is that we need to hold on to those ideals for dear life and bring them into reality as much as possible, especially with Uranus and Taurus, because over time, you know, we may lose that idealism, but if you just remember and hold on to what you believe in, what you truly cherish, what you think is possible, and even if you don't think it's possible, maybe, you know, like just hold on to what is your ideal? What is the ideal world? What is the ideal person you want to become? And what is the ideal scenario that can help you get to that point? Because I think holding on to our ideals is very important, and following it is very important, because you don't want to get lost in what the world can sometimes inundate you with, because it's easy to get off track. It's easy to lose sense of your ideals. It's easy to start going down a path that isn't true to those ideals. So just try to come back to that if you can and refocus. That's kind of what I think this eclipse is about, is refocusing on your dreams, refocusing on the visions that you hold dear, the ideals that you want to see in the world. And Venus in Virgo is trine Pluto in Capricorn. With this trine, this is about looking at our shadow side of our relationships, but it can be a source of great intimacy, because once you really go through hell, you can sometimes reach heaven, because with Venus trine Pluto, it will make you aware of what needs to change, and if you're able to share fully your truth about what you see needs to change, then it allows for the conversation to move forward, to allow the other person to share deeply what they believe needs to change, and that's when transformation can occur and a deeper sense of intimacy can occur as well. And them both being in earth signs, Virgo ruling the 6th house and Pluto ruling the 10th house, this could also be a transformation in your career and getting more clear about what needs to change in your career, what needs to transform, what shadow aspects of what you do for work needs to transform. And it can also be a very strong source of creativity for bringing forward transformation. So if you are someone who's very creative, then this could be a really great time for tapping into the darkness and like expressing the deep darkness within yourself, the shadow side of yourself, and channeling that through a creative thing, like, you know, painting or music or dancing or poetry, any form of creativity of your choice, of course. Whatever comes most naturally to you, this is a great time to channel deeper emotional energies that are more easily released through artistic forms. And get out of this little, I guess this light is shining on my head here, but that's okay. Pluto sextile Neptune is still in conjunct Mercury and Leo, and will continue to be so since Mercury moves retrograde July 25th and will be retrograde until August 18th. So this yod that has been happening, Pluto sextile Neptune in conjunct Mercury and Leo, is going to be a theme for a while because of, you know, it moving retrograde and then going back into those degrees eventually again. So this is definitely about expressing something that is collective, that is needing to change, the shadow side, the parts that we sweep under the rug. There's something that needs to be expressed here. There's something that needs to transform, and using your creativity, using your voice, using, you know, your communication can help us transform this energy, this underlying energy that's here. It's also very spiritual in nature as well. Neptune is, of course, our connection to all that is, the oneness of everything. And this is a time for diving deep within yourself and coming into awareness of your own shadow to transform it so that you can express it through that creativity. And I just feel like right now is a time of some deep spiritual work, deep spiritual transformation occurring collectively right now. And yeah, and the best way to really bring these things to light is through communication and creativity. And the inconjunctions confirm that. So the thing with inconjunctions, though, is that it's not always easy to do that. So we may be aware of these things, we may be ruminating on these things that need to transform, but we may not know exactly how it'll help us, or like how, you know, how we get from A to B, you know. And the inconjunction to the Mercury, it's like, okay, it's through communication, but sometimes it's not always easy with inconjunctions to do that, because you're not always aware of it, or you're not always aware of what it is you can say, or what it is that you want to express. Like, so that can be the difficult part of it. But I think the going within and getting more clear on your own deep energetic nature, getting more within yourself about your own shadow aspects and how it can relate to the collective, can help you get more clarity on what it is that you need to communicate and express. So, yeah. And then, let's see, the Sun and North Node in Leo are sextile. Wait, no, this can't be right. Sun and North Node. How the hell did I get to that point? No, that's not right. Because that can't be right. They're inconjunct that, huh? Okay. Okay, I think that's what happened here. Alright, I accidentally wrote the wrong thing on my piece of paper here. But the Sun and North Node are inconjunct Saturn in Capricorn, Saturn retrograde, and Saturn is semi-sextile Mars, the Moon, and the South Node in Aquarius. So, with the Sun and North Node inconjunct Saturn in retrograde in Capricorn, and it being semi-sextile, the South Node and Mars and the Moon. So right now, okay, it's like we have creative energy that we want to express right now. But this Saturn retrograde in Capricorn is like kind of a reality, kind of kind of keeping us kind of confined in reality a bit. And I think with this semi-sextile to the South Node and Mars retrograde, it's kind of a need to let go of something that is restricting you. And it's also, you're so busy maybe dealing with this shift and the reality of your situation that it's hard for you to express the things that you need to express, because you're so caught up in maybe what's happening. Like, because, you know, I mean, that's understandable, especially if you're going through something like a shift in whatever area of life. It can be a challenge to be able to express a higher ideal that needs to be brought forward, because you're kind of, it's like a kind of a little dichotomy kind of feeling, like okay, so in order to move forward you have to express something, but you're so busy dealing with this situation that's like kind of a challenge to even like get in the right mindset to bring that higher ideal into being. Because I think of the North Node as what's coming into being, and you know, the South Node is kind of what you already have available to you, but it's also what you need to let go of. And then the North Node is like, you know, what we need to kind of like start focusing on. And the Sun is also about who you are, and Leo is all about your self-expression, creativity, and your children too. So, and it's very optimistic, positive energy with, you know, the Sun in Leo. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know, the Sun rules Leo. So it's like high time to be very creative and optimistic. But there's this challenge going on over here with Saturn retrograde, Mars retrograde, conjunct, you know, those are semi-sextile, and then, you know, Mars is conjunct the South Node, and with the eclipse going on, there's like a tendency towards a bit of negativity around that time. And it's like, okay, we're so focused on what needs to shift here that it's kind of hard to be positive or express yourself fully. But there are some of us who will be able to do that, because if you have a lot of Leo in your chart or stuff like that, you may feel that more so, more of the positive energy. And some of us are going to have to shift away from the negative energy, you know, just for, you know, simplicity's sake. Because it's not that, you know, Aquarius is all that negative, but there's certain things that we need to let go of right now, obviously, with the Mars conjunct the South Node. I mean, that in itself, plus then the Moon being there. But, and then, you know, the semi-sextile of Saturn. And Saturn does have a tendency towards some negativity, but it's obviously necessary sometimes to have that to keep you, you know, in check, to keep you realistic, to keep you responsible. And, you know, obviously all energies are necessary. But anyways, that's just what I'm feeling about this, is that there's this kind of feeling of not being able to focus on what you want to focus on, and you have to let go of certain things in order to focus on that thing. So then, let's see. Chiron is trine the Sun and North Node, and sextile Mars, the Moon, and South Node. So Chiron and Aries. So I feel like this Chiron and Aries trine the Sun in Leo is helping us to be very courageous and to face the wounds with courage, the wounds that we carry with courage. And with Chiron sextile the South Node and Mars and the Moon, this is helping us become aware of our wounds at a very, like, deep level, and to let go of, like, the ego stories that have kept us in victim mentality. But this Sun trine Chiron is just helping us to overcome it with such vigor and passion, and be able to be the wounded healer, to really be the healer that is necessary for us to overcome those wounds and to be strong and powerful within ourselves. And let's see here. Then Venus in Virgo is sextile Jupiter in Scorpio, and Jupiter is sextile Pluto in Capricorn, which is trine Neptune in Pisces. So Jupiter is basically in between that trine to Venus and Pluto, and then, wait, Jupiter, oh okay, yep, I think I messed up in how I communicated that, but basically Jupiter is also trine Neptune. So Jupiter is sextile Venus and Pluto and trine Neptune, and I hope that helps. So right now, I mean, this is a very powerful time for your spiritual growth and for a sense of connectedness and oneness and feeling the love. You know, you're feeling the love at a deep level, and there is a sense of being able to love yourself more fully, to love all the parts of yourself that are not easy to love, and to transform those shadow sides into love, and to feel that sense of love and unity collectively, and that we can love even the darkest, deepest places right now. This is like love in the darkest depths of human reality, because it's not easy to love all of humanity. Almost impossible, I would venture to say. But right now we can really tap into the deepest love and the most transformative love there is, which is loving every bit and darkest point of humanity and yourself and all of those that you are in contact with. So this is a great time of forgiveness and transformation, healing, and awareness, deeper awareness into the psyche of those who are at the darkest levels, and having more compassion and understanding for those people, for the people who may have wronged you, may have hurt you, may have hurt others. Just a deeper understanding and a forgiveness and a love for every dark place that exists right now. So, alright, that's kind of an intense way to leave it, but that is the last aspect on my list here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I appreciate it very much. Have an awesome time. Bye.